Hey guys, so in this video we're going to go through a couple of little techniques that you can use to improve ankle plantar flexion. There are obviously lots of different ways you can do this, but we're just going to go through 3 quick ways here. The first one, if a condition was, or if the joint was a little bit irritable, we might want to do a slightly less provocative technique, and for that we're just going to do a simple accessory mobilisation, so a PA mode. So essentially you want to come onto the tibia to stabilise the tibia, come up into a slight bit of plantar flexion, and then literally I'm gliding the talus, so I'm coming through the back onto the talus, gliding there in a PA direction. Obviously, you know, your normal grading system for your mobs would be applicable, so depending on what depending on why this was indicated. Obviously if it was more pain, you just wanted to start getting it moving, you're looking at more your grades 1 and 2, and if it's a stiff joint then you need more moving into your sort of 3 and 4 grade in terms of the Maitland grading system. The next thing that we can do is do a little bit of a mobilisation with movement. So actually similar thing in terms of that glide. Obviously with the positioning or handling, the elbows being in this position means that we can really control the force, so it's a really nice position where you have your hands opposing each other. And then what we're going to do is, again, similar thing with the glide, and then just say to Patrick, if you can just point your toes towards the ceiling, try and hold that glide on, and then back down again, and then repeat that for me, Patrick. So we're just literally doing that and repeating, trying to keep that glide in a PA direction as we create that plantar flexion. That's good, and then relax. And then the last one we can do, obviously you can mess around with this as well in other ways. So you could just do a physiological way, you're holding the calcaneus and then coming down into that position as well. So you can do little things like that. It wouldn't necessarily be a mobilisation with movement because we're not creating that glide, but you could just do that as a little bit of a physiological. Then you could add in for your ankle inversion injuries and things, you could maybe add in a little bit of that inversion just to stretch the ATFO and ligaments that might be damaged there. Again, obviously doing that and listening to the patient in terms of what their symptomology is when you're doing that. But the last one we can do is just coming into holding midfoot, both thumbs onto the heel, and then just coming down into a plantar flex position. So again, this is more your physiological mode into plantar flexion. And that's going to be a little bit more provocative. Obviously, in terms of the grading, again, you can change that depending on the irritability of the condition. But we're just going to literally work into that. You could do that as a combination as well. So you could combine those different techniques in one sitting just to really quickly mobilise the foot and then go into more of a functional movement after that. Anything else that you might add to that, Ben, or do on top of that?
No, I think that's a really nice chain of treatments. Often if they're irritable it would be on subsequent sessions, but if they're not that irritable, it's a nice way of starting off with a mobe and then working into an MWM and then going into a bit stronger of a physiological mobe. So a really nice chain of treatments.
Yeah, great.